Hello, friends. Tonight we're going to talk about the expansion of consciousness and personality. My favorite, Anais Nin, has a quote that says, "A life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage." And Henry Miller echoes that quote. I can't quote him exactly, but he says that everybody has their own reality in which whoever cautious enough one swims. And that is very true. And especially as we live a little bit more life, we can go back and see how different choices brought different consequences. And sometimes the choices that we don't make or take also bring consequences, not sometimes, but always. So when I look back, I can see how there's a choice. Do you go to high school or not? And what high school do you go to after you graduate school? And uh, I was really good at math, but I was also good at language. And I was gonna go to the math high school like my brother, because in Bulgaria, where I grew up in, uh, you have to take exams, like tests, to go to a specialized high school. And I was dead set on math because I love math, and my brother's older, who's kind of like my hero. It's like I was gonna be like my brother. But then I realized, wait, I actually love English and I love language. And last minute, I decided I'm gonna go and try for the language high school. And I had to take lessons, and I just like aced my exams, and I got in to study English like I wanted. But those were just these last minute choices and decisions that one makes. And then later on, like, do I go to university or not? And I almost dropped out because the first year was so tough. But I persisted. And then, who you get married to, who you get into a relationship with. And do you go for your dreams, or do you settle for things that everybody tells you that you should do, or everybody thinks that's possible for you? And it's been choice after choice after choice. The way I picked up photography as a hobby, and starting a 365 project just to finish a project, and then turned into a business, and then doing my self portraits and art, and um, setting up a website, and uh, doing NFTs, and everything, all the experiences that come from every new experience, and learning and travel. And what's possible. I wanted to travel and live like a local with very little money, and I discovered pets and house sitting. So all of these things are, again, courage. What do you believe is possible and what not? And this is how we expand in consciousness, and our personality expands. And I can go back and meet with people that, for example, never went to university, or went to university but returned to live in the town that I'm from. And their lives are very similar, and my life has expanded so much more beyond that. And I'm not saying it's like it's good or bad, because there's been a lot of experiences that can be deemed as negative, but again, they're learning experiences that probably I wouldn't have had if I had chosen safety and staying where I grew up in. But again, I chose differently. And with every choice, there comes a risk. So to me, it's always fascinating, and how the people that have known us before stay with this idea of who we've been. But we might have expanded a million times since then. Uh, because we made these choices and had those experiences. And naturally, when you have an experience, hopefully it does change you and expand you. And you meet different people and you see different ways of living, and you travel to different places. And to me, like all of that is always like showing me, wow, there are those possibilities. And oh, this person thinks like this, and this person does this like that. And it's different that what I grew up with and what I was told is possible. So it's fascinating again of how limitless it all is, and how at any moment also we can decide, you know what, this has been a lot and I need to slow it down. And the necessity of anchoring the experience. I have those times where I've done a lot of traveling, and then it's like, wow, I just want to stay put for a while and process. And that's something that I see not a lot of people do, and self reflect and take time to really uh, realize, oh, what is this thing that I've experienced. And especially with things like loss, uh, it's important to take the time and process the experience and alchemize it. And that's where a lot of art comes from, and a lot of realization, and a lot of aha moments of like, oh, okay, this is what I want. And it's really fascinating, this whole trip into consciousness and expansion. And a lot of times, the biggest expansion happens inwardly when we're still on the outside. And it seems that we have a very simple routine and we don't do much. But actually, on the inside, the biggest expansion is happening because there are limiting beliefs that are falling away, and mental barriers and blockages that are falling away, and childhood trauma and conditioning that's being healed, and certain belief systems that are crumbling. Because when we're still enough, we can see where they came from and how made up they are, and how they don't serve us anymore. And we don't have to stay stuck in the past, and we don't have to stay stuck in some lines that somebody else drew. But we can pick and choose of, you know what, I'm going to take this from this experience, and that from that experience, and this feeling from that experience, and this thing that I enjoyed, and this thing that really filled my soul with bliss, and this thing from over here, and create my own feeling roadmap and environment, and take it from there. And it doesn't have to look like anything anyone else has created before. And I can be inspired by this person, and I can be inspired by this experience I've had, and I can be inspired by this experience that this person's having that I totally don't want to have, or this experience that I've had that I totally don't want to repeat. And it's like this kaleidoscopic, I don't even want to say puzzle, because the pieces are rearranging themselves all the time, forming new pictures. And that's the fascination of living richly and allowing, our heart to be open, and allowing our experiences to change and transform us. And also, realizing that connections should not be attachments. And if we hold on to something that is meant to be let go, we limit ourselves. And it's seeing it more like, okay, we walked this path together for a little bit, and I really treasure that. And I've been present, and I have valued and respected you the whole time. But at the same time, now I want to go over there, and I see that you're not comfortable with that, or like your path is leading you somewhere else, or you just want to stay here. And thank you for everything. And I'm gonna go now. And if you want to join me later, you're more than welcome to. And if you never want to go that way, that's totally fine too, because in this magical universe, we're always one. Everything is always connected, but at the same time, we're in these separate forms, having those experiences of separation uh, for enjoyment and enrichment, and everybody is allowed to have their free will and create the reality that they want. Favorite memory from my childhood. That's very interesting. Some sticker thing popped up. Favorite memory from my childhood. I don't know what that was, but now I feel obliged to follow it. Oh, I don't know. I have a few, but because it's winter right now, I remember when my dad took me and my brother up on this hill, and we slid down the hill, and these nylon like heavy duty bags, and it was so much fun. It was a lot of fun. And I guess this is where I'm gonna stop this live right now and stay with this sledding memory.